turn off all the lights at the end.
Yeah. What a revealing experience for an icebreaker. Thank you very much, Adam.
You're welcome.
We are now ready for our second icebreaker, Felipe. And his title, I have...
Survival of the
as
fittest.
Survival of the Fittest.
All right.
Felipe, Survival of the Fittest.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. The title of my speech is Survival of the Fittest. I want you to go back in time with me, back in my childhood, back in Colombia, where I was born. I was born in a city called Bogota, the capital of Colombia. My father had migrated to Colombia. Did not know the reason, but then after a few years later, my mom followed. A few years later, they had my sister. A year and a half later, after that, they had a beautiful son. And that's where I come in. Okay? While we were living in there, my parents struggled learning the language, learning the community, how to be sociable, and they ended up just saving enough time to actually build a small restaurant where I remember it could only fit about 8 to 10 people. And I remember at the age of 8 helping them wash the linens, the tablecloth. And keep in mind, it wasn't like we had washers or dryers. It was all done by hand. So I just kept washing those clothes and napkins for a long time. That made my hands very dry. And I'm constantly, even up to today, I'm constantly putting lotion on my hands. Soon after that, at the age of 14, my mom and sister and I decided to actually go to the US just to see if we could actually build up a better future for my sister and I. After landing in New York, my uncle had actually found a basement for my sister and I to live in. Soon after we settled, my mom took off. And it wasn't like she abandoned us. It was something that we had discussed so that we could build a better future. And it was, at the beginning, it was very hard. I kept thinking what I had done. At that time, it was one of the hardest decisions that I realized I had ever made in my entire life. When I was 14, all we did was go to school. After school, we helped our uncle work at a factory where we helped them build shoulder pads and buns for blazers and things like that. And we would help them for a few hours. At around 8 o'clock, we would go home and sort of started our homework routine. Right up till 12 o'clock, midnight, that's when we would go to sleep and start our day all over again. A few months after that, I was cornered by a group of kids. They had cornered me with wrenches and knives. I was robbed that day. And they had told me not to ever show up in school again. It was shocking. It was one of the hardest things I had to go through because I did not have anyone but my sister. Soon after that, I realized that one of those kids was involved in a gang. And when they told me never to show up in school, I remembered my mom's words when she left us. Fight for your family. Fight. Just fight for your family. For a better future. After that, realizing what my mom had said before in the past, I ended up going back to school. But it wasn't by myself. I had to carry a butterfly knife with me. It was one of those knives where I'm sure you've seen those on TV where the bad guys are just doing fancy things. I had to carry one of those every day for school, just for protection. And then it wasn't like I was trying to hurt people. Just handling the knife itself was shaking. I was trembling every day. But after that, a few days had gone past, and I saw one of the kids in the hallway. And I thought that something was going to happen for either between me or him. But I guess he knew that I had known people then, and so nothing happened. And with that in mind, survival of the fittest is the speech, because you have to adapt to your environment. My answer is